All right. With David Conley in Monterey, California, where you play every weeknight, right? At the
Tuesday through Saturday.
Sardine Factory. I checked him out the past couple nights, and you played a lot of covers and sometimes slip in your own music.
Yeah, I do requests, so if somebody requests one of my originals, I'll do it. And that's my moment to plug the CD that I sell at the gig.
And I saw someone actually buy one of your CDs last night toward the end.
In the more typical situation, he didn't even ask to hear one of the songs.
That's right, that's right.
That's pretty typical. It's a tourist town, so that CD ends up being a souvenir. And I'm fine with that. I mean, if I get a request for an original, I'm happy about it. But if I sell a CD, I'm a little happier.
Now, you said it's a tourist town here in Monterey. Does that mean you see a different audience every night?
Potentially, yes. I mean, I have a local following, but definitely I depend on the tourism here. As it gets towards the summer, it gets pretty packed, and you get a lot of affluent people. And a lot of times where the locals may have started out giving me that $100 bill or that $20 bill for a tip. They ended up seeing me too many times to just be able to do that every time.
Yes.
But the tourists, however, feel that obligation of tourism that happens where you want to spend money on things that you really like, and I tend to do really well with that group.
And it's really great how you are able to play almost any song that people call out.
Yeah, I'm old.
But you've learned a lot of songs. Like, how many, do you know, like thousands of songs?
I estimate that I know 400, and I can play 1,000 if I'm assisted by my trusty iPad with lyrics and chords.
Okay.
Or even just lyrics.
Of course, then times that by 10,000 because so many songs have the same chord progression, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel very limited. As long as I can read music, I'm a music teacher, so reading music is part of the deal on that. And as a result, I can go back to the old jazz standards, which I get certain amount of requests for that stuff. It's not my era. I was born in '58, so I don't remember any of that, but I don't dislike them.
And he makes that clear at the show. I heard you announce last night that you were born in '58 and you did a song from '58, which was What I'd Say by Ray Charles.
Yeah.
And that was that a request?
No, I wanted to do that. Well, what happened is I think maybe Jerry Lee Lewis was before that.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll get in the mood, like if they're wanting 50s, I'll get in the mood and do 50s. If they want 60s, I'll get in the mood and do 60s.
I called out 60s and he did some Beatles.
Yeah, those are my favorites. So that's
mine too.
I tend to be a little more exacting, like I can get the exact song of the Beatles in most cases, whereas most of the stuff, group or artist is a good request for me.
You even ended Wednesday night with The End by the Beatles.
Yeah, I should have probably done Your Majesty afterwards. I didn't want to be too much of a copycat. But yeah, I mean, Abbey Road is one of my favorite albums by them, not my favorite. And to be able to do the whole medley from what was it, Golden Slumber?
Yeah.
It was kind of fun, especially there's no Ringo solo, so I have to do it on the piano.
Right. Now that's funny because you add tracks when you play, right?
Sometimes. A lot of people like to dance. I get a lot of women in there that want to dance, and for that reason,
they had me dancing.
They did. So having tracks to bump it up a little bit from just piano is kind of fun. But I don't at all lean on them. I look at it as like as the night progresses, it's a good time to bring it in. But I always start the night with just piano.
Okay.
And go pretty much as long as I can with just piano until it starts to get antsy to dance.
Then you could add drums whenever you want.
Whenever I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
And that's a keyboard, so not only can you mix the tracks live, because they're MIDI tracks, but I can play it live. I can hold down a chord and have a beat going and play certain songs live from the keyboard as well. So it kind of is like an organ in that sense. I mean, portable keyboards basically were a miniature organ. Organs were the first instruments to have built-in drums, built-in accompaniment. And I like counting all that stuff. I used to sell that stuff for a living.
Okay.
Back in Sacramento.
Right.
And
what, Skips Music or something?
No, I worked at Sherman Clay.
Oh, right. I remember that. Yeah. And that was on Arden Way. I remember.
Yeah, I don't miss it.
So, but you teach in Monterey. You're busy throughout the day, aren't you?
Somewhat. It's like a swing shift.
Yeah.
I start teaching usually about 3:30 because that's when school lets out, and so 3:30 to 7 I have spots open for teaching, and I don't try to fill them all because I have a young son that I have half time, and I try to keep my time available for him as well.
Right, and then you head off to the Sardine Factory like 7.
I start at 7:30 to 10:30 there. So, like I say, it's a bit of a swing shift, 3:30 to 10:30 kind of a hourly thing. I'm not on Saturday. Saturday is the day that I leave open for fun.
Let's talk about one more thing real quickly. And you mentioned before the interview that Monterey attracts a lot of golfers, and so you've actually played with some musician golfers, right?
Well, yeah, Michael Bolton sat in with me, and you get different celebrities coming in. Mickey Dolenz from Monkeys came in and listened to my last set. You know, I didn't mention Barry McGuire came in and sang Eve of Destruction with me.
Really? All right, that's awesome.
That was pretty cool.
That
He
is
signed
awesome.
an old 12-string of mine. And it was cool because, I mean, he's a real 60s guy.
Sure.
And it's like
the
Mickey
number one
Dolenz.
hit.
Yeah, like Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite era.
Yeah.
The 60s. So anytime anybody from that era comes in,
So,
I get pretty excited.
yeah, it's very historic, and Monterey itself, the Monterey Pop Festival, is a big part of music history.
It is, you know, that Monterey was very reluctant to have the festival, but okayed it at the fairgrounds, which still exists. In fact, you can still see Jimi Hendrix's burn mark from when he burned his guitar there on the stage. But they wouldn't allow a second Monterey Pop Festival because of the way the first one went.
Oh,
they didn't
really?
really want 250,000 people converging on Monterey anymore.
I see.
So that was the end of the Pop Festival.
The
And it's
population here is like under 40,000.
Yeah, and they have Jazz Festival, which is a very famous jazz festival.
Sure,
Monterey Jazz
sure.
Festival, but it's a different kind of clientele.
It's laid back.
And older.
Yeah.
And fluent. Not a bunch of drug-crazed hippies.
But people who drop $100 tips regularly.
You see, and that's the thing, most drug-crazed hippies would do that if they had it.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with golfers. I'm
Yeah.
good with it.
So you live in the dream, the musical lifestyle dream. That's awesome.
I think it's a version of the dream. I mean, I think most people want to get signed. I certainly don't. I have
Right.
a kid. I want to stay put.
Right.
So that's my dream. But, you know, I try to support the young acts here in town. I try to go see music when I can. It's not very often, but on nights that I play, if I get a break or afterwards, I'll go see an original band when possible. But there's no real original music scene here because there's no real original music venue here.
They're all cover bands.
That's the only way they can live. I
But
mean,
you get to sneak in some originals.
yeah, and you know, like I said, it's by request. I really, I mean, it's just the service aspect of music. I like to serve people musically, whether it be through teaching, meeting my students where they live, getting them to practice without trying, or whether it be at the Sardine Factory where I take requests, and sure enough, when they see the CD on the piano, they want to hear one of the originals. Getting a request to do an original, to me, is a much better way to do it than forcing that.
Sure, sure.
In a cover scenario.
All right. David Conley, great hanging with you.
Same here, Alex. It was fun.
All right.